What's up, G.I. Joe fans? Welcome back to the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. I'll be your curator today. Guys, we got another cool G.I. Joe offering for you today. All the way from 1996. We bring you our G.I. Joe Action Soldier Masterpiece Edition, the ultimate collectible. Guys, in 1996, G.I. Joe was about to hit a new stride in its comeback. It was about to switch over and away from the Hall of Fame body styles of G.I. Joe. And what every collector that was born in the 1960s and the 1970s remembered about G.I. Joe was those vintage G.I. Joe figures from the 1960s, 1964, 65, 66, and so forth. And HASBRO got together with Don Levine, the father of G.I. Joe. And any G.I. Joe collector needs to know that name, Don Levine. He's the reason we have G.I. Joe. He's the reason G.I. Joe pretty much exists. So Don Levine had old vintage G.I. Joes from the 60s from his personal collection. And what they did was they made new molds off of those originals. And the rest, they say, is, as they say, is history. The Masterpiece Edition was born. Now, collectors could have a taste of the vintage G.I. Joe figures in 1996. I am a child of the 70s, so I was never blessed to have, the 1960 G.I. Joes, not in mint condition, because I'm a mint condition collector. So I purchased these. It came in a set of 5. You had 5 Masterpiece Edition G.I. Joes. And I could not find some of these guys at store locations, Toys R Us and such and so forth, Targets. So I purchased mine from a fellow collector that had bought multiples of every set. So he had a ton of sets. So I bought 5 from him. And this is one of them. We did a review on a few of them, our astronaut and our marine. And this is our action soldier. So, and the beautiful thing about this, as you can see, this was definitely made for a collector. It came in it's extremely heavy. It's massive. It's heavy. It's in a book form, as you can see. We'll open this up for you. I'm going to hold it because, as you can see, this book right here is so heavy. It's coming out a little bit, so I'm going to hold it as I talk to you guys. But get you a blown out shot here. Let me see if I can do it without. Yeah, it should stay. Everything is gorgeous. This is displaying at the highest level. This has got collector written all over it. These sets were very expensive, even back in the day. I believe these sets were going for somewhere around $40 or $50 back then, which was expensive because, we were just getting back into G.I. Joe. So our G.I. Joes were going for like maybe $20, $24, somewhere around that ballpark. So that, you know, to have a set that was coming out that was going to cost $40 to $45, $50 was a lot. But as you can see, you got a lot for your money. And here you have, in this big 5th panel booklet panel, it gives you the breakdown, the history of G.I. Joe. Whoa, sorry. I'm about to create an accident over here. You have, listen, look at this. 21 moving parts on this figure. 21 moving parts. It breaks everything down. The creator, Don Levine, the creator of G.I. Joe. So Don Levine, with John Micklick, tells the story of G.I. Joe. How cool is that? This book is, as you can see, it's heavy, so it's not used to being, I don't keep it straight up like this, standing straight up. It's usually lying down. But this book is massive. It gives you all of the inside information about G.I. Joe, the construction of G.I. Joe, the history of G.I. Joe, all of the figures that were made in that time period, what Don Levine was thinking about when he decided to go ahead and start the G.I. Joe project. I've never opened this though. I've never opened it. And as you can see, it's all encased in plastic. And as for our figure here, it's an African-American figure. The entire set that I bought was African-American, except for our astronaut. That was this was the entire set that the collector was willing to part with. As you can see, he's locked in there pretty good. I'll lean him back a little bit so you can get a better shot. It comes with a hat that's encased in plastic. Everything is beautiful. He's still locked in there pretty good. He's got a manual back there, and behind that manual you can see a lot of these stickers and stuff inside the plastic bag with him. All those decals and stuff go on his uniform. Of course, ours will never get used. They're for museum purposes now. This entire set is a museum artifact. Perfect head sculpt. There were some complaints about these figures as far as stress cracks in near the wrist areas, the joints. I don't see any on mine. Near the leg, you would have to take the figure out and take the clothes off to check him, but the vintage figures suffered from stress cracks. So if this figure was made on the same scale and taken from the same molds as the originals, then they probably would suffer the same fate as the original bodies would. Guys, if you're just joining us, welcome to the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. We're hanging out today. Hope everybody's staying warm. We're under a snowstorm here in Ohio, so we're nice and snug and cozy in our museum, bringing videos to you guys for your viewing pleasure. Guys, what do you think about our beautiful G.I. Joe Masterpiece Edition set? Action Soldier. Do you remember this figure? Do you have this figure? Do you want this figure? These figures are still, you're still able to get these guys for a decent price. for whatever reason, they didn't, they maintained their collectability to a certain degree, but they're not in any way super rare. You can still get these guys. See, everything is just done beautifully. 21 points of articulation is fantastic for a figure, and I'm just talking about the G.I. Joes that were produced back in the 60s. That was fantastic. Now, you have Hot Toys and Sideshow collectibles and things of that nature, and other expensive brands, action figure brands, that is, got 30, 40 points of articulation. But for its time, G.I. Joe revolutionized the action figure and practically created the term action figure. Don Levine didn't want his G.I. Joes being referred to as dolls. So he states that in an interview. Didn't want them being called dolls, so he came up with the term action figure. So that's why you see the term action soldier, action pilot, action marine. Action sailor. So it was all action. He wanted that word to stick. And here on the cheek, another interesting fact. Lay him down a little bit so you can see it. I don't know if you can really see that scar. I had this guy out, so he's a little dusty. That scar on his face was more of a trademark, because as Don Levine stated, he was informed by the U.S. Patent Company, you can't patent the human body. So what he had to do was he put a scar on all of the G.I. Joe's face as a trademark. Which was very interesting. Here, we'll turn this guy around. Here's the side shot. Like I said, this box is beautiful. And here on the back here, get you a back shot here. Beautifully done. I mean, I'm getting a workout just by moving this box. Is extremely heavy. I'm going to say it's somewhere in the 5 to 10 pound range. So I can't just sit these guys any old where. I have to have a special spot here in our main museum area to store these guys. These guys are kept in plastic bags. This one is out because it's being checked. I take these guys out periodically, maybe every 5 to 6 months, to inspect them. And we really care for our figures here. Let me see if I can get you a year here. There it goes. 1996 Hasbro. And then you collect them all. You get your blown out shot here. Here's our action soldier, action sailor, action marine, and action pilot. And you say, well, where is the action astronaut? Where's the astronaut? The astronaut was a special one, and it was only sold through FAO Schwarz. So you can check out our astronaut. You can go to our astronaut playlist, and you probably can find him on there as well. But he has his own video. It's a beautiful set though. But he wasn't sold with these guys. I had to, and he was way more expensive. And today, in 2019, he's extremely expensive. He's definitely held his his collectability price point wise as well. I've seen that figure, the astronaut figure, go for well over $100. The most expensive I've seen him at is probably around $180, $190. So he's because he's so rare, he's so hard to get. And collectors know that. So when they're selling them, they're going to up the price on eBay and Amazon. So, and it's very rare that I see him on there, but he's expensive. But I had to have the entire set, so I bought my guys a long time ago, though. This set was purchased around 1996, late 1996, almost 1997, so I didn't want to wait. But in fantastic condition, as you can see. This set is a G.I. Joe Action Soldier set, Masterpiece Edition set is well over 20 years old, and it's in just pristine condition, as all of our beautiful figures here in our museum. Guys, we'd like to thank you for hanging out with us. You know the routine, guys. We got more fun on the way. Stay tuned. God bless, and keep collecting.